Hello lovely Simmers, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing another save file build for my section in Willow Creek. Now this is for a towny home. This is going to be for the Goth family. Now before we get started on, storytelling or getting really into this build, I want to say, and you can hate on me in the comments if you want, but I have never played any of the Sims games besides The Sims 4. So I am unaware of the lore of The Sims 3 or anything involving the Goth family prior to The Sims 4. I did go on The Sims Wikipedia so I could kind of get a little bit of a background. So I know that at some point Bella was abducted by aliens supposedly, but that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge pre The Sims 4. Now honestly I don't play with townies in The Sims 4 anyway, so I also didn't really have that much knowledge of them, like their family dynamic in The Sims 4 either. So a lot of this is just from the Sims Wikipedia page, and for the story that I wanted to create for the Goth family. So please do not hate me if you don't like it. I'm sorry, this is just kind of the vibe I was getting from them. So on the Sims Wikipedia page, it said that it's believed that they're inspired by the Addams family. According to that page, a couple of their homes from the original installments of The Sims were actually designed to look like the home from not only the Addams Family Values, but also the original, I think it was in the 70s, or either in the 70s or the 80s, but the original Addams Family TV show. So their homes have been inspired by the Addams Family. Obviously, Mortimer Goth and Bella Goth have very strong Morticia Addams and Gomez Addams vibes, so at least I've always thought about that even before I read this in the the Wikipedia page. So very much so I was kind of trying to get the Victorian style home and Gothic age style home, but also trying to make it fit in with the world of Willow Creek that I'm building, because like I said, it is a very suburban town. The wealthy area of town where they live is all brick homes and traditional style buildings, so I wanted to kind of merge that Victorian-esque dark brick, dark stone buildings with a more suburban style. So that's kind of where I was going with this home. You can see I do have one tower to kind of reminisce off of the actual traditional Victorian style, but besides that it's very suburban. I'm using the Seasons stone in the dark gray mixed with it's actually an eco lifestyle swatch of color. You can't really tell from this far away, which is why I picked it, but it technically has bricks in it, but it's made out of slate, and I chose it because it was just dark enough that it played off of the darkness in the stone I was using from Seasons, but it wasn't too dark that the house looked completely black, and it also didn't have too many lines in it that were very prominent, so it would make the house look kind of awkward and it had too many textures. So I was trying to keep things textured but not too textured, if you guys know what I mean. And then I'm using the Discover University windows because they have brick accents, and they're also the only windows I could find that are properly curved that weren't the vampire windows, and I thought the vampire windows looked too Victorian for the type of house I was trying to build, so I liked the idea of the Discover University windows. I'm also going around adding some accents using the columns. I like to do this if my houses look a little bit too bare. Using decorative columns kind of gives it a little bit more pizzazz, if you will. And I'm also using just a couple of different roof trims and wall trims to kind of break up upper and bottom level floors. Now I will say there is obviously a top floor in this build. I do actually furnish it. It's unlike my couple of other builds where the top floor has just been decorative. This one does have a room in it. It is strictly for Cassandra, their eldest child's room. She has her own bathroom and her bedroom upstairs, and it's a little bit bigger than her brother's, but her brother still has quite a large room. All of the rooms in this house are quite large, and the floor plan's a little awkward. You won't see me create it in this video because when I sped up the footage for the video was 2.5, well, unsped up it was almost 3 hours long, and sped up it was 35 minutes. So I did have to cut out quite a bit to get it down to below 20 and then a little bit over 20 with the screenshot. So I hope you guys don't mind that there are quite a few things cut out. You get the gist of it though. We will be cutting out the landscaping, but right now you can see me kind of laying out the backyard area. Initially the back of this house was a little bit smaller and I was going to do a larger backyard, but when I realized just how much space I actually had to fit into this home, I didn't want to have to cramp all of their bedrooms. I wanted it to be very spacious and family friendly. I decided to go ahead and extend the back of the house and make the backyard just a little bit smaller. But now we're on to the inside. And my idea for the style of the inside was I didn't want everything to be all black. So the initial home, if I'm not mistaken, that the Sims 4 placed the Goths in, the entire inside of the house is like black and red with gray and white accents. I wanted to kind of flip that on its head and instead do white and black with kind of gray and red accents, or white and gray with black and red accents, depending upon what room of the house you are in. So as you can see right now, the floors are black and the walls are the Paranormal Stuff Pack wallpaper with that flower floral print in white and gray. And I'm also using the Paranormal Stuff Pack scones because that pack definitely screamed more Victorian to me, and I kind of wanted to play off of that with the interior of this home. If you just heard something in the background, that was my phone. I am so sorry. I don't usually leave it on loud when I'm doing the recordings, but I forgot that I had it on loud today. It's the Blue Angels where I am. If you're from the States, specifically the East Coast, then you know the Blue Angels are like this group of fighter jets, I think, or jets from the military that fly over Annapolis, Maryland and Virginia, and they do like cool shows and stuff, and this is practice week for it, so my family's discussing going to go watch the show since it is my last summer here in my hometown, so they're kind of like trying to plan everything while I'm trying to get this voiceover done. But anyway, over here you can see I placed this plant in the corner. That's actually the room or the door that's going to lead to Alexander's room, their youngest child. And then you can kind of see off on the bottom left-hand corner, that's where Bella and Mortimer's home is going to be. But here I am setting up the living room. So when I looked up the family on Wikipedia, or Sims Wikipedia, it said that their family does not have any electronics. They don't have TVs, computers, except for Cassandra, I think it was, had a tablet or a slablet in her inventory. So I wanted to keep with that theme and not put any electronics in the actual house itself. Now the Wikipedia page also said that Mortimer was a writer and he was in the writing career. But in order to be a writer and be in the writing career, you have to have access to a computer, and I felt like it was really inconvenient to have him have to always go to the library to work on his career. So I decided that there's like this little offshoot area over by where the carport is, and I end up decorating that to kind of be his and Bella's office, because I also kind of changed how Bella was. Now I was reading on the Wikipedia page and it said that in The Sims 4 her aspiration was party animal, and she was romantic, family orientated, and then she had like one other trait, but I can't remember what it was. But in the initial trailer for The Sims 4, her actual aspiration was friend of the world, and you can like download that version of the Sim off the gallery, and I kind of liked that version of her better because it felt like, from what I was reading on the Wikipedia page, it felt like that matched her from the other Sims games a little bit better, because in the other Sims games, her and Mortimer have like a really great relationship, and she has a really great relationship with her two kids, and, or at least before, you know, she got abducted by aliens, and I felt like she was really like close-knit with her family and maybe a little homely now that she was married. Like I felt like very much like Morticia Adams. She was always at home. She didn't really have a job. She gardened. She maybe did artwork. She was really into art and antique collecting and stuff like that. So I do end up giving her an easel, and I'm gonna kind of change some of her traits. Especially because one of her kids is really into music and the other one's a whiz kid, so I feel like Mortimer and her have to kind of have a combination of those interests and those traits for that to have come about. So I'm going to kind of play off of that a little bit. But now we're into the dining room, and I'm using the Realm of Magic table mixed in with some, I think they're base game chairs and seasons chairs. And then I also found this base game little corner shelf that I thought matched the style I was using for this build perfectly, so I decided to go ahead and find a corner that I could place that in. Now, as you can see, there is kind of like this little extra room here off to the side that I don't have anything in. The house was really hard to furnish on the angle that I built it, with that angular wall, and I couldn't figure out anything to put in that space, so I did end up just blocking it off and pretending it didn't exist, basically. And then over here I'm just adding some curtains just to make the room look a little bit more finished and a little bit more polished off. And then I'm also going to be adding some more of the chairs from the table over here in the corner, just to kind of give a little bit of like a small seating area, but also make it look like maybe there's some extra chairs in case they have family over or friends over, or they host a dinner party or something, because I did think that they were definitely, you know, hosting people. They liked to have dinner parties and have people over and just have a good time. So I did add a couple of extra chairs for some extra seating over there for that. And then here I took a brief pause because I was trying to figure out what room I wanted to do next. I decided on the downstairs bathroom. Now, this downstairs bathroom is technically the guest bathroom, but it's also the one that I feel like Alexander would use because he's the only one without a bathroom that's kind of like an ensuite. Now, the only issue with that is that there is no shower or anything in here. You can easily fit one. In fact, I almost did it myself, but I thought it was weird having it in front of those windows. So he probably has to go upstairs to his sister's bathroom to shower, which is probably a little inconvenient, but maybe that's like a point of tension between the two kids. And then in here is the kitchen. So we have I used the kitchen kit refrigerator because I absolutely love this refrigerator. It looks a little bit more old-fashioned and less modern, but at the same time it's not antique like the one that we have in base game or the one from Realm of Magic. So I've been really enjoying using this refrigerator, and I'm just cluttering up the counters just a little bit. I didn't think that they would have too much clutter around their house. I definitely thought they kept things a little bit more tidy. They have, you know, plants and stuff and some decorations, but nothing too cluttery. I do not put any dog bowls or cat bowls or anything involving pets. They do not have a pet when you download the game, and I wasn't sure that they would be the type of family to have a pet. If they did end up with one, I definitely thought it'd probably be more along the lines of Cassandra's pet, and it would probably be a cat. But that's totally up to you. There is definitely the space for it, especially in, you know, their family, because there's only 4 of them and you can have 7 Sims, I believe. Over there, I just decided that I wanted the family to have like a grand fireplace, and instead of just like a lonely table, so I did end up switching that over to the Paranormal Stuff Pack fireplace. And then in here, I'm just adding a little countertop for the kids to sit at while, you know, breakfast is being made or something. And then over here, I'm adding extra cooking space. Not that there isn't plenty in the actual kitchen, but I didn't know what to put over here besides that, so I just did some extra counters. And I'm adding a coffee pot and a tea maker as well, so that way it's kind of like a little drink station for Bella and Mortimer. Maybe while they're working on their art and their writing and stuff like that, they, you know, make themselves some tea and some coffee, and they have their own little coffee tea bar over here. And then I'm saving my game because at some point while I'm building this, my game did crash. It didn't like crash, like the game didn't shut down and I didn't lose any progress, but like I got this notification pop up on my screen that said the application wasn't going to work. You'll actually see that in a minute, and it's because it happened while I was building this room. Well, it happened once before, and then it happened again while I was building this room, and I actually did lose some footage because I paused the video to kind of try and figure out what was going on with my computer, and then I ended up not hitting replay, so it was my dumb fault that I lost some footage. But you don't really miss much. You just see me placing the dresser and everything for this room. But this is going to be Mortimer and Bella's room. I do add a couple of more red accents in this room than what I add in the rest of the house, because Bella's iconic dress is red. So it's red and black. So I did think that in the case that this is her bedroom and she had a little bit more say in this than the rest of the house, I do think that she added quite a few more tones of red in here. So the lamps are red, they're gonna have some red plants and some red, you know, books and stuff. right there is where you could see my camera crashed, so I had to, you do miss the rest of me finishing off that room, but I think that's okay. You can kind of see it from here where I'm decorating the bathroom, and then you can also see me finishing up the bathroom. You can see I added a rug that was red, and my camera's acting super fun. Okay, so we are now on Alexander's room. I'm so sorry about that, but we are now on Alexander's room, and he has his own little seating area over here. His traits, according to Wikipedia, is that he's a whiz kid. He has that aspiration, and he has he's a bookworm, and he has a couple of points in all of the skills that come with kids, so social, creative, mental, and motor. He has 1 point in each of those. And I decided that I wanted to play off the fact that he was a whiz kid, so I give him this science table, and I give him just a couple of toys, but all of them are revolved around, you know, brainiacs. He has the robot on the floor. He's going to have a couple of school projects that are like the solar system and the volcano to up his science skill, his mental skill. And then he also has his bookshelf here and then a little reading corner, and I also added a couple extra cushions in case, you know, he had some friends over. And then I did think he was probably really scholarly, so I added this shelf with trophies and stuff just in case, you know, he had won some reading awards or some science project awards and stuff like that. And then up here, oh no, we're outside. We are at we're in Mortimer and Bella's kind of office area. So like I said, this is an offshoot. It's off from the house. It's not inside the house itself. And I thought they probably locked the kids out of here so that way they couldn't spend all their time on their computer. You know, they really wanted them to be outside, you know, getting better with their mental skills and stuff like that, but it's a little bit old-fashioned. You can see he has the hanging lamp and some candles lighting his area, but he then has the modern computer. And then I'm also adding a seating area. I thought maybe him and Bella, while the kids were at school or something, maybe they sat in here and, you know, talked and had, you know, good times, because like I said, they do have a very close relationship. And then upstairs is Cassandra's area, so this is her bathroom. I made it a little bit more decorative than the ones downstairs. I added a couple pops of color. I thought that she was definitely like a purple person, so her walls in her bedroom have like a purple tint, and she has a purple bed. And then we're adding a couple of end tables. I wasn't quite sure what to do for her decorations. She's into music. According to Wikipedia, she wants to be a musician, and she has some skills in music, and that's like the career choice that she wants to do. So I figured that I would kind of give her some CDs and a couple of different decorations, but keep everything on the classy end because I definitely thought she would take after her mother in that sense. I am putting a couple of, you know, fancier decorations around, but she's still a teenager, so I didn't want to do anything too posh. And then over here, you'll see is where I end up doing her little music corner. So we have the keyboard, the guitar, and the violin. And then we have a simple desk area because I did think that they probably wanted her to work on her skill or her schoolwork as well. If they were going to, you know, let her focus on her music, they probably didn't want her grades to slip. So she does have her own little desk area. And then I struggled a little bit with the wall decorations because her bedroom's enclosed with the roofs, so I couldn't actually put any windows up. But, so I had to kind of find decorations to actually cover the walls with. And then out here, I get a couple of seating areas right by the pool, as well as a lounging area and a cooking area, so that way the family can eat outside if it's a nice day or entertain outside. And then I also get a couple of gardening activities because I thought Bella would Bella would take up gardening. But besides that, that is it for this build, so I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Thank you.